Alrighty, so I was gonna do a bit of a beat breakdown, but the breakdown is taking up way too much CPU. Do not have that much CPU, and for whatever reason, Task Manager doesn't see OBS as open, which is kind of weird. But I mean, I'll circle back to that as it becomes a problem if it does. Um, so as the title would suggest, we're gonna make something ambient, something a little darker, maybe not darker, but definitely something a little ambient, a little bit like reverbed out. Let me go ahead and fix my sound real quick because I got it going through my big speakers, and then it's gonna go through the microphone. You're gonna hear it on a delay. Don't want none of that. So what we do want is half beat from the magnet in the top left. It just makes it easier to work with. Currently have it set to the key of A sharp minor. So just put it in like a minor scale because I mean that's, it's gonna work well. We could do this a few different ways. Um, just kind of fiddle around with the notes, see what sounds good. Not that. Not that. Not that either. I'm trying all the wrong notes. We could be a little bit more strategic with it, but I don't really want to be. When you're strategic, you know what to expect. You know what the next step is. There's no surprise in that. So I feel like we took that the wrong way. I need to bring it down to A3. There we go. Okay, now that is a good melody, I think. So what we can do with that is we can actually just put another one here and another one here, and then just kind of like reinforce the notes. Oh, golly, we made a uh-oh. Okay. So one thing I want to do is shift click, and you'll see, but just shift click is how you do it. Okay, so I hate being congested. Do y'all just like ever have allergies and it just like ruins your day? Alright, so now we gotta make really big chords because that's what I want to do. So we'll use the middle note and then we'll go up till the 7th. Kind of get it a little bit R&B like. Doesn't sound R&B like yet though. We gotta do a lot more work to get it there. One thing we could do to help out is lower it an octave. Kind of like steering pretty heavy into the blues. Oh, and one thing I just realized. Okay, I thought we were not using the right notes. I thought we were doing the low velocity ones. So I kind of like it. I want to make it a little bit more like melody and a little bit less the same thing over and over again because it does feel a little redundant. So what we'll do is we'll probably add in one more note on the last one here. Just kind of really drive that home, and then maybe like put one up here because if we're gonna reinforce A, we need to put a little bit more tone on it too. And then we could even put something on that note. No, but maybe that note. Okay, I'm trying. Sometimes it doesn't work too well. So we can also try that and see if that sounds better. One of the things to remember is that we're using Fruit Loop keys, so like it's not really a good starting point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a good starting point, but it's just not a good starting point. Okay, so A has been overused. G did sound pretty good. I think what we could do is maybe something like that. A little bit more subtle. I kind of want to keep it that like little like pattern. Okay, so far it's not turning out great, but that's okay. We're gonna make the top melody sound great. We're just gonna keep trying. We're not gonna accept no for an answer because the answer is yes. It sounds amazing. It just doesn't sound good yet. You gotta believe in the vision. Number one thing to tell new producers: just believe in the vision. It'll work. Just trust. Alright, so I want to kind of like copy that over into another pattern. So oh shit, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, okay. Alright. So don't do what I did. Do the opposite. Do the right buttons. Control C and then Control V. I did Control B as in Buster. Why did you do that? Oh, and I did it again. Golly. Good thing I can like cut that out in editing. But realistically, probably not gonna do that. Okay, so now we're gonna do like a little bit of a chord kind of thing with these. Okay, now let's just see how that sounds. Okay, I just realized we did do the thing on these where they are way too low, so we'll fix that. I mean, like that, they do kind of ruin it, though. I feel like it's got to be like two separate sounds. It's not really wrong with these kind of beats to go like super heavy with the chords. But like, it's not necessarily the way to do it. It's just not wrong to do it that way. So now I'm just kind of like changing it so it matches the chord of the note it's actually hitting, since it's not exactly the same pattern twice over. It kind of is, but it's kind of not, you know. I feel like what we need to do is randomize these. And I feel like an ARP is what we need to use for this part. If you can't hear it yet, just wait. Just wait. So the chords are taking up everything. We'll probably end up putting halftime on this. So it's gonna be a little bit more like this. And honestly, we'll probably put halftime on these as well. But we'll probably do it to like a different speed. I mean, it doesn't really seem like it's gonna be the same or very good if we do it on a full bar. See, it already sounds kind of dark already, and we're using basic plugins. Okay, so all we gotta do now is find a good synth. Use any synth that you're comfortable with. If you don't have a synth that you're comfortable with, I recommend Electra X. It's a good synth. You gotta get some good banks for it, but I mean, honestly, if you have just the regular ones that come with it, and I'm pretty sure they've released new ones since I've gotten the banks, so they might even have more. But like Synth Vintage, Synth Modern, they do have pretty decent stuff in those. I'm gonna use base go to banks though, because this is just what I do. I could venture out, but no. You gotta pay for everything these days. So stupid. Alright. So we'll just kind of like find a sound that sounds decent, and then we'll see if we want to put it under halftime. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to want to do here is put an EQ on this. Now, I kind of want to put a phaser on it, and to people who don't know the difference between a phaser and a phaser is for higher tones, a flanger is for like mid tones. And if it's for like mid to mid low, that's where a chorus comes into play. Mid to mid high is flanger, high and above is phaser, mid to mid low to low, and all that stuff is the chorus. So it goes chorus, flanger, phaser. Just think about it alphabetically. From low to high, depending on your frequency, alphabetically, C, F, P. Chorus, flanger, phaser. Now enjoy some coffee. You know what? Here's what we got to do for this. Hold on. Coffee ASMR cam. Okay, so we got to do a lot of stuff with it. Like, this is not it. We'll go ahead and just randomize it. What's funny about this is that nothing's turned on. Like, part of the randomization was it literally turned off. Okay, I kind of like that. Although, now that I'm listening to it, it's definitely going a little too much. I wonder if maybe we could, like, slow that down by slowing down the oscillator. Maybe, like, turn down some of that. Put that back to about where it was. Sometimes it's worth playing around with it and, like, just seeing if you can, like, make it a little better. So I feel like what we can do with this, if we do wide, yeah, okay. So just as is, kind of just like makes it dance with itself a little bit. One thing that I want to use on this beat is Portal, but I don't want to use that yet. Windows keeps trying to get me to upgrade to Windows 10. I keep telling it to shut the fuck up. Okay, so I'm just gonna straight up turn up the volume by turning it up there. Then realize I can turn that up out here too. It does sound a little bit way too loud, but I think that's just because of the perspective of the sound. Yeah, it's not actually that loud. Alright, so we have like some kind of really grimy sound. I want to layer it with something kind of natural. Something that's going to be a little bit less harsh on the ears and kind of give the first sound just a little bit more context. We might even raise some of the attack on the first sound so it kind of turns into a little bit of a pad. So I always go to the volume first, which is not the right way to do it. You gotta do it from here. So, I mean, at this point, we're really just kind of trying to make it sound weird. So let's go ahead and look at the actual sounds that it is being used from up there. Okay, now what if we maybe... Yeah. Just change that cutoff and get a completely different sound. A little bit more of an arpeggiated sound that way. I'll probably turn some of that down. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and copy that into Analog Lab. And we'll go ahead and just put that on 3. It does sound pretty cool, but like we're gonna make it sound good. Alright, so make sure it's like a decent octave. I kinda wanna highlight some of the root notes here. Just give it a little bit more power. Don't really feel like there's a lot going on with the root notes. I kinda want that to be like a dip. Okay, and then I want to, evidently I want to put this on it. I didn't think I wanted to, but I mean, hey, why not, right? You can do anything. It's your world, it's your oyster. Enjoy your oyster. Okay, I don't know what I just did to it, but that does make it sound pretty hard, doesn't it? I meant to go over to Fruity Parametric EQ too, so we'll do that now. It looks like we need to raise it another octave. Alright, this will turn into a weird beat. We can kind of bring it all together at the end though. Like, we're not lost with it yet, but it definitely is turning out different than I wanted it to. I'm still not sure why it's not showing OBS Studios and Task Manager. It's so funny to me. Alright. So we kind of need something that's going to be a little bit more like a pad, but not quite a pad. I want something a little bit hard because I want it to like stand out. I want it to be pretty clean because I can select that, and then maybe ambient. Yeah, so we got like 9 sounds to try. Okay, so we're gonna bring this one over to this one. Oh shit. Alright, so we're gonna try that again. Sometimes you misclick, it's just part of life, you know? This is kind of a hard lead actually, hold up. That's awesome. Yeah, okay, so we'll do that. We'll definitely do that. I hope I don't use too much CPU on this. We'll see what happens. Alright, so honestly, I'm just gonna go with it. It's got a weird little sound to it. I mean, it's got like a cool little sound to it, but I feel like what's gonna happen is we're gonna put the EQ on it and it's gonna just sound bad. We'll have to change it up, but I mean, it'll be okay, I'm sure. I think what we need on it really is just another like phaser or flanger. We'll just go with one of the presets because I mean, it works really well. Honestly, you know, what I want to do is put them on the same channel because I think that's going to be the best thing for them. But we'll go ahead and leave the EQ on this. I mean, it's virtually the same sound. We'll even put, we can put Portal on it actually. Hold up, that's what we need to do next. So let me go ahead and just say this. If I wasn't going to put Portal on this, I would just put a delay on this and it would work the same. Maybe follow that up with a chorus and a little bit of reverb. Okay, so if you don't have Portal, just use a little bit of delay, make it very intense. Put a chorus on it to kind of make it a little bit smoother. And then just kind of go in with a little bit of reverb. Okay? If you want to put a little bit of a flanger on top of that at the end, feel free to. I need to get like actual ones because like I don't have any. I straight up really need to use this plugin more. It's super good, I just don't ever use it. See, I really like that little percussive element. I just feel like that's not going to work well with what we're trying to do. Such a weird pan. So I kind of just want to like play around with some of the different effects. Just kind of like see what this does. Not really a wrong way to do it. Okay, that goes pretty hard, doesn't it? Do a little subtractive synth EQing here. And then just kind of leave that as is. So whenever it's a little bit hard to like actually get the sounds right, what you can do is you can just go over here and put this into 100% merged. It makes it a lot easier to get the sounds right. One of the things this desperately needs is some delay. The sounds sound right on top of each other. And then on this one, we could put some delay on it. I'd rather just put a really thick reverb on it that kind of acts as a delay. It's just gonna make things a little easier, so we'll go ahead and put the delay to like 80. And then go for a large Magellanic cloud. We'll do a width of like -24 and a mix of about 30%, but we're gonna go ahead and circle back to that. Whenever you like amp it up, you get a better example of what the sound sounds like, so it makes it a little bit easier to design. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that back to about 40, raise that to about 11. No, actually, we'll keep that to about -25, because I mean, we got a thickening a little bit down here on the actual chorus, so it'll work out. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and put that back into regular. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and put a little bit of a delay on those. It does sound a little bit like not in the beat, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like we can get it resolved with just a little bit of like some hacks. So we'll go back to Valhalla Supermassive. By the way, I don't want to hear anybody saying, oh, I can't make this beat because I don't have good plugins. Like, this is a free plugin. Valhalla Supermassive is free. The only thing that I've paid for is the flanger and Portal. And then I guess also Electra. And I guess Microshift. And okay, Halftime too. But that's a bad example. Halftime's a $20 plugin. Microshift, like, you don't even need Microshift to do what I'm doing. You don't even need Portal to do what I'm doing. I told you how to do it. And there's a phaser and a flanger that comes with FL. The only thing that you need is halftime, and that's if you don't have gross speed. And halftime's a $20 plugin. So like, child. But also just use one shots. Like there's so many one shot kits. Like let's look in here. Whoa. Look at that. Whoa, is that something I can sample into a one-shot? Okay, well that one didn't play, but alright, you probably can't really sample that one. But like, I mean, regardless, there's a ton of free, like, okay, that's pretty hard. Man, we should have taken this beat that direction. Alright, so back to designing this. Okay, so now what we need to do is we just need to bring the original sound that created all the other sounds over, and then we need to put something on top of all the sounds. We got 2 more steps and we'll have a completed melody. See how it kind of like all builds off of each other now that we got like the different effects in it? So like we actually have stuff like mixed properly and it's not just like randomly placed there. It actually sounds pretty decent. Sound like futuristic, ambient, sample, start. It's kind of everything we were going for. It's kind of not, but it kind of is, you know? It's kind of the beauty of art. Should never really try to make anything because like you're not going to be able to make that. So just try to make something cool and then that's it. It's my advice to up-and-coming producers. Just try to make something. Don't try to make anything. Just try to make something. Make it cool. We use just a bunch of narrow basses. Sweet VCA. Hey, that's hard. Okay, hold up. We'll use that. We'll totally use that. We're gonna put halftime on it. Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit of mixing to do on that one. We'll probably try to find an active channel that's already open and just kind of place it on that, but we'll use it. So let's see, we got that on 5. So the first thing we want to do is turn that down because I guarantee that is way too loud. I want it on a simple channel. So I feel like 3 is probably a decent one. Maybe 4. It's got some high sound, so. As much as I want to just copy that over, we have to make its own little panel for it. So what we'll do is we'll touch number 3 because we're going to base it off of 3. Save mixer track, click and drag, and put that onto 5. It's honestly really close to where we need it to be. It's just not there. So now what I want to do is find an actual sound to use here that's going to be a little bit more like an actual instrument. Because like honestly with this, I wasn't really going for drum and bass. Now we just gotta find a good sound. It's kind of like an organ mixed with a piano. I feel like we can do better though. I feel like that's a good like first sound. Okay, it's starting to crash. So we can't use this one. Well, that's a good sound. Alright, so now let's go ahead and put everything onto like one channel and we'll put a few effects on that and we'll call the melody done. Alright, so you know the drill. Just click the one, control shift, click the rest, and make them all route to it. Now you'll notice everything's kind of quiet. We didn't really do a whole lot on that last sound, but what we're going to do here is we're going to change the gain. So I want to go ahead and put EQ on it. Just want to look at it, see what we got here. Now I want to go ahead and put EQ 65 on this. Now the EQ 65 is going to really change the sound, like a ridiculous amount. So we're going to go ahead and make the low cutoff around 250, 300, just somewhere in that area. I want to just kind of play around with this. Like you can just change the sound so much with this, it's crazy. And like you can do everything I'm doing if you want to. You can, you know, do it from here. You don't need to have this plugin to do what I'm doing. I'm just playing with the EQ. And we're just really trying to hone down on some of this like low end here, because whenever we go to the 808, we want the 808 to be bumping. It's not going to be bumping as is. So now that we've kind of played around with it a bit, we completely changed it on that front. We want to go into here and just kind of go into mix bus and low mid cleanup. Now there's other ones that we can play around with if we really wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and try to find just a few more things that would work here, but I might just leave it as is. I found one yesterday that I'm trying to find today. Yeah, here it is. Clean low end. Boom. So the next thing I want to do is kind of through just two additional things. Now there's one plugin I recently got, so I want to use it. It's called an old big album. Definitely put the emphasis on. We'll definitely do voltage sag just to kind of give it a unique sound. Kind of like, I don't know. I want it to sound a little bit filtered. You know, kind of want to give it a little bit of muddiness. And I guess realistically, we need to be doing this before. Put that on first, maybe. So if you're ever not really sure about a plugin, here's what you can do. Just hold your mouse where it is, close your eyes, do this. Now does it sound good? Now does it sound better? It sounds better to me. Okay. See? Sometimes like you can't really hear it, so you really gotta test yourself with it. I've done that several times and found out that no, it does not sound better. Okay, so ultimately I'm happy with that melody. One thing I do want to look at is just, I want to pull it on an EQ, just kind of get a general idea of what it looks like. It looks pretty full, so we're good with that. Not too much on the low end, not too much on the high end. Very unique sound, pretty decent levels. Okay. So that is the conclusion for part 1 of this video. Guess I probably should edit some of these videos. I don't really know how I want to do it, because I kind of want to do just beat breakdowns, but I also want to like actually make the beat and do tutorials with it. But I don't want to be left with 2 hours of footage that I need to sit through, because like I don't have that kind of time. Plus I don't really even know how to edit videos, so learning to edit videos with 2-hour videos seems a little too ambitious. But I also don't want to just upload this to my YouTube channel and then get 0% retention on the watch time, and then as a result of that, just completely bury my channel in the algorithm, because that's currently what's happening with it. But I kind of want to like leave this video up as a video. I don't know. I'm just gonna record like a 3-hour video. We'll just kind of go for it. Alright, so we don't really need these anymore, so we'll go ahead and delete these. If you just left click and then press DO on the computer keyboard, it actually just deletes the channels for you. Because D is the delete and the O is okay. So let's find a pretty generic sound for the 808. So that one sounds pretty cool. I like this layer one just because I feel like we can do like some really like swag related things with that. I like that about that. So we'll get a pretty basic clap going. You gave your beat chlamydia? I want to do like a really like literally just a one step for the hi-hat. Like that goes hard. Okay, so press Control E on your 808. Once you have your 808 loaded, it's gonna bring up this menu. Find where my mouse is. If you can't figure it out, that's kind of on you. And then you want to press Detect Pitch Regions. Pause the video. You know, like you're watching a YouTube video. Pause it. So we see it's on C. By default, it's always going to be set to C. It is set to C2, and we do have it on C5, but trust that that's just not an issue. Always put it on the 5s. If it doesn't sound good on 5s, maybe put it on the 4s. You know, play around with it, but it just always trust 5. C5, okay? Now, if this said, like, D, what you would do is you would just go over here, and you would just hit D. But it's not, it says C, so we'll leave it at C. After you get it tuned, you just hit cuts off. If that didn't make sense, I'm sorry. Just keep watching YouTube videos. Not even mine. It'll make sense. Everybody uses that trick. So I want it to be like almost like Fun by Destroy Lonely, where it's like boom, 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 boom. Just way too much 808 off that. Okay, so we got something pretty abnormal going on. I like that. Abnormal is the name of the game. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of repeat what we got going on with that first one here. We're gonna remove it where the clap goes. It's gonna create a little bit of rhythm. Just trust, okay? Shout out to KBZ for this trick. Yeah, KBZ. We fly it up. You know what I'm saying? So this trace bounced in a few different ways because it's a different hi-hat. It's straight up a different hi-hat than this. Here, what I'm gonna do to demonstrate this, because it doesn't really show a good example as is. It's very minimal, but like, I don't know. This one's a little sharper. We're kind of doing it in reverse. So I guess what we should be doing if we're like really trying to make the best beat, and this is just kind of redundant at this point, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy this over to this, and then we're going to go ahead and just put this here. We want to play around with the way that the bounce sounds, because it's either going to sound bouncier like this, or it's going to sound bouncier like this. I feel like it sounds bouncier like this, because like there's more in on this, so it has a harsher transient, whereas like with this one, it's kind of a little bit tuned down, so it's just kind of like more of a whereas the other one's more like a so it's almost like putting a crash at the start of it. The reason for it is just because like this is a much cleaner sound, but like at the same time, like this one, I don't know. Like I don't even think the transient really is what we're playing with here, to be completely honest. I'm pretty sure it's a transient in the tail, but I don't know. See how that sounds. It sounds too similar. What I want is just like harsh transient. Alright, so let's make sure we got it in key. Doesn't really have to be in key, I just like to make it in key. Okay, so let's just do something dummy with the hi-hats. What we'll do is we'll do it on the rhythm hats. I feel like there needs to be something here. Or maybe what it is that we need to take something away. See if that sounds better. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just duplicate it. We don't really need this last note here, but I mean, if it sounds cool, we could have kept it. It did not sound cool though, so did not want to keep that. Let's try that, but we'll only do it on the like first one there. Just kind of give it a little bit more like rhythm. I'm feeling like this is a little unnecessary. It doesn't really correlate with the beat, so let's try to make it a little bit more like on beat. Yeah, okay, that's pretty hard. Hold on. So that is highlight and then shift and drag on the mouse wheel, and you'll get to be able to move stuff like that. That's actually really hard. Hold up. What if we do this? Okay, and then what we could do is just kind of like maybe like bring those down a little bit. Try something like that. Now I kind of want to like randomize these a little bit, even a little bit in the volume department. Or not volume, panning department. Okay, And then over here we'll do a similar thing. I don't want to do it as much though, and I do kind of want to do it in the other direction, just to see if that does anything. I kind of just wanted to, almost like arpeggiate the things a little bit. Just add a little bit of an alternative sound. Alright, you know what time it is. Don't act like you don't know. You've been here long enough in this video. It's like chocolate milk. It really is. It really is. Okay, so what do we want to do next on this? You know, what are we hearing? Because like part of me thinks it's done, but like there's definitely a lot more room on this beat. But like the question is that room for the artist, or is that room for percussion? Let's just do 2 snares and maybe 1 percussion. I mean, when I'm saying simple, I'm talking simple. I think what we ought to do is maybe something more like this. Alright, we're trying to make the crowd say jumpin' jellyfish. When you're making a beat, ask yourself, is the crowd gonna say jumpin' jellyfish to this one? If the answer is no, you've already failed as a producer. They're gonna be saying jumpy jellyfish. Jumpy jellyfish, jumping jellyfish. They're gonna be saying all kinds of different jellyfish to this one. It's gonna get the crowd moving. Like, sometimes it's not even really about putting the kick anywhere, because, like, sometimes they just don't even need one. You know? I'm kind of feeling like that's kind of the vibe this one's giving off. We need, like, a really intense kick. I thought we needed a subtle kick, but we do not. I kind of want the kick to exist in its own world. Like, it just doesn't sound good there. What about that? Does that sound good? It sounds forced is what it sounds. It kind of creates room for a new 808 though. I was wrong about the 808. That makes that one sound off key. Okay, so we're just not gonna do that. Okay, what about that? I feel like that almost gives it kind of like a blast beat kind of thing. And with that in mind, that makes me want to put a snare here. right there too. But I feel like that's gonna be too much. So I guess maybe we could try something like that. Like sometimes you just gotta look at it and make it look good. Cause like if it looks good, it'll probably perform good. It's kind of important though, like try not to put the snare where the kick is. You can, there's no rule against it, but you know, try not to. I feel like there's way too much going on in the end. Going for the blast beat sound is not what we want to do. So let's try just that. It does sound like it's kind of got that because of that. So I think what we need is to move that over to there. Okay, so now what I want to do is just put one more hi-hat on it to kind of decorate it. So I want to start off with this a little bit. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna go ahead and just play around with some of the velocity here. Okay, so now we got to get the sound right. So honestly, with some of the hi-hats, let's just move that all to the same channel. Same shit for that. Alright, so for reference, I want to do this. Oh shit, that's what I want to do. If you press Alt and then one of the arrow keys, you can move your channels. Like I know a lot of the keyboard shortcuts come off as redundant if you've heard them before, and that's because you've heard them before. If you have not heard them before, they are life-changing. I work with a bunch of people who are like in their like 30s, 40s, and 50s and whatnot, And a lot of these people don't even know about Control C and Control V. They don't even want to know about Control X. Okay, they'll probably think they broke something. They press Control X because they don't know about Control Z. They don't know about Control Y. It's that undo and redo. Control Z, you know, is that undo. But yeah. So pointing it out is helpful. You know, like you may already know it, but not everybody does. You'd be surprised, like how many people in the real world just don't know it. I work in a tech position too. Like I'm not like super tech, you know, but like I do like tech support. So if people in the tech support don't know about Control C, Control V, triple click to select a line, double click to select a word, like I mean, it's scary. So I apologize if you've heard the keyboard shortcuts before, but kindly get over it. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, what are we mixing? Are we mixing the 808 or the kick to the melody? Or are we doing the 808 to the kick? Does the melody even matter? Okay, you have to figure it out. Okay, so now that we have figured out the mix on the 808 and the kick, yeah, reversing the polarity on that is hard. Why does that just straight up sound offbeat? I mean, doesn't it just straight up sound offbeat? Okay. So one of the things that I want to do is just kind of put a little bit of a dip here in the low end, around like 60, 80-ish or whatever. And just kind of help the kick stand out a little bit more. We could do the same kind of thing over here. We could do a few different other things as well. We're not going to, but we are going to circle back to this and just around this area. Probably around 1080. Just going to eliminate that. Now what you want to do when you're doing it is you want to listen to how the beat sounds, and then you want to find the area that clashes with the 808, and that's what you want to eliminate. But I just know from experience it's going to be there. So what band is that? That's this one. Let's bypass it. See, so it doesn't really leave too much of a difference in the melody, but it's going to leave a pretty big difference in the 808. Alright, so now at this point what you want to do is take off your headphones. What the hell am I doing? Alright, what you want to do is take off your headphones and you want to listen to it without your headphones. Now if you're not using headphones, then maybe you want to put your headphones on at this point. The point is, you've already heard it through one thing, but you're doing the mix on it, and you got to do it through a different thing. Because if you're only mixing on one set of speakers, it's going to vastly change what you hear. I have made so many good beats on these studio professional grade speakers, and then I go into my car and there's just no bass. So you have got to test the various settings as to how it actually sounds. For me, the most important part is that you hear the bass. Like, if you can hear the bass on your phone, that means that the mix is done correctly. Now there's more to it, but as a general rule of thumb, that means you did a good job. I feel like there's room to turn up the 808, so I'm going to. I like my bass really, really loud. I mean, I like to like mess up your speakers loud. So if I have an opportunity to make that happen, and I'm hearing it, then I'm gonna make that happen. Okay, so now we gotta mute the bass. Now we're gonna mix in the percussion. Now, really simple. Just start with the loudest element. It's always gonna be the snare. Sometimes it's the percussion, so I take that back, but like 9 out of 10 times it's gonna be the snare. Now, I'm kind of going off some of the numbers, but I'm just using them as a reference point, and then I'm working from there. I'm not using that as the final point. So like normally I do my kicks up to the number 9, but as you can tell, this one is not going to the number 9. Normally I do my 808 to the number 12, but this one's closer to like, I don't know, 8. But it works within the context of the sounds that we have. All of that to say, figure out what you want for the snare. I mean, you're not mixing it to make it like sound like this or that. If you want to use reference tracks, you know, like find a beat that you like and use that to kind of like find the harmonies. Like one thing that you can do is you can take any sound, download it as a sound file, and then put an EQ and like a spectral analyzer over it. And you get to see a lot of stuff about the beat. You get to see the waveforms, which can help you remake the beat, because you can remake the waveforms, and when you have the waveforms, you can use those waveforms to make the same sound. But it's just about making the waveforms, making it right. And you can use an EQ to be like, okay, so, you know, in the 500 hertz range, this is where the kick is hitting. In the 5,000 hertz range, this is where the snare is really doing a lot of the work. And then you know how to make your sound a little bit more like that. But what we're doing is we're making a beat. We're not copying the beat. So I don't really like this as a percussive element. So I want to change it. You know, honestly, that doesn't sound bad. We'll just keep that. Maybe put it over to the right. It sounds a little off-putting on the left. Okay, so we're gonna have to turn down some of the add on the snare, just make it a little tighter. Okay, and then this is where like the hi-hat is gonna come in. So we'll go ahead and start off with this one since it's got the most going on. Oh, okay, we gotta pause the beat. Something just happened that spiked the CPU, so now we gotta find where that's going on, and then we gotta... We were doing so good for over an hour, and then something random just killed it. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. It's like the one annoying thing is whenever the CPU just wants to crash on you. Now, I mean, so honestly, it does sound a little unnecessary whenever you first start learning about this genre and like you first start like using some of the hats, because it's just like, oh, the hat's all you hear. But like when you learn more about sound selection, you understand that like the hat is all you hear, but there are certain elements of that hat that impact how you hear the rest of the beat. So like, yeah, it's because you're hearing the hat, but like the different, like if you used a different hat, the beat would sound different. I mean, people want to give hip hop a lot of shit because it's the same two-step hi-hat pattern. Oh, people just use the same two-step hi-hat pattern. Oh, people just use a two-step hi-hat pattern. That's all they do. They just use a two-step hi-hat pattern. It sounds so bad. You just hear a little do 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 with no stops. It just goes do 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 do. It's because it's a sharp sound that is specifically made for this kind of sound. I mean, if you go back and like, rock music, you're gonna hear the same shit. Any other genre, you're gonna hear ch-ch-ch-ch-ch. The difference is it's very sharpened in this one. It messes with the waveforms, going back to what we were saying about that earlier, which impacts how it hits the other waveforms, which results in a different ending waveform, which results in a different sound entirely. Yeah, it's the same hi-hat over and over again. What you don't like about it is that it is loud and it is sharp. Listen to the rest of the beat. If you can't do that, I don't know, figure it out. Don't listen to the music. Why are you here? An hour and 15 minutes into the video on a genre you don't like. I don't understand. So, we are now at the point where we want to master the sound. And honestly, this is going to be a little tough because we got this 808 going crazy. But we'll figure it out. So I want to I'll use parametric EQ too. I don't really want to though, to be honest. So go ahead and just do a 30 hertz cut on the bass. I don't really care about the top one, but I'm pretty sure that's there for like certain reasons. Alright, so now we're gonna find new thing with saturate. Now you can just use Fruity Clipper if you want to, but I prefer to use this for a few reasons. Additionally, one of the things I want to do with this, because it always boosts it way too high, I want to turn that down to 6 decibel. So I want to take note of where it's hitting, and it's kind of hitting mostly like around 15, but it's peaking at 6. So I want to turn that down to about 3, maybe 4, I don't know. It doesn't really have to be precise, we'll do 4.5. So that's going to just lower where it's going into the plugin. With Fruity Clipper, you can do the same shit, it's just a little different. Although honestly, like, I would recommend this plugin. I use it to master my beats. It's a very rough master. It's not like an actual like Ozone master, which Ozone isn't even really a real master, but anyways, so now you just want to bring it up. Just kind of make it where the clipper can do work. And then just kind of mess with the clipper type. See what sounds better, you know? Sometimes a soft clipper works better, sometimes a hard clipper works better. Okay, so we got it sounding at a pretty decent volume, honestly. We got it over here around 3, which is typically what I aim for. So I'm not going to have to do anything to change the sound on it, but what I am going to do is find a limiter, and we'll put a limiter on it. I kind of want to go for one of these. Just kind of like play around with some of the presets. If you want to like change something, then change it, you know? This is a really cool sound. We'll use this. See what happens if we raise that, lower that a little bit. Bring that back to where that was. That time a little bit. So we gotta see where it's like actually sounding over there in the top right. I want it to be around like 1-2. It doesn't have to be 1-2 precise. The point is it just needs to be more than 1. When I'm seeing 1, that makes me feel like the limiter is doing too much work. And I don't want the limiter to do too much work because that means the beat is being destroyed. So I want to see more dynamic. What I'm seeing right now is 1. If we click it again though, we gotta like kind of reset that. So just let it like play through a loop, see what it goes. We got 1.5 on it, so we're good. That means our limiter is working. It's not working too hard. That's what we want. Now we could do a little bit more work to some of these sounds, particularly on some of the hi-hats. So let's go into growth beat and we'll just try like messing around some of the sounds on this. Try to get a little bit more sound going in. We'll kind of do, honestly, the same thing on this one. I've never used that trick before, but that actually works really well. Kind of like think about the sound that you're going for. I mean, we got this on a snare drum, so like we'll probably do like what, like 12 milliseconds there. I'm gonna... Alright, I want to go back and retry this. It's funny to me that I put channel 9 into channel 11. I'm a very immature and basic person. Maybe not immature, probably immature, but definitely basic. Okay, so are we happy with that sound? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Okay, so with this trying to be like a Lucki type beat from the start, let's say some Lucki lyrics. That's how we can test it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Opera. Just load up a song. Unless it's just crashing that. Crashing my sound into oblivion. Okay, let me go ahead and exit out of this unnecessary thing and just get some lyrics going. Let's go for, you know what, I like AristotleSimone. We'll go for that one. That's just my influence. Okay. Eat way dressed over. She said she could call over. 3K for a pint of drinks. I was gonna change the lyrics. I don't want to say lean. I don't drink lean. I don't want to be associated with it. But here I am making Lucki type beats. Okay. So yo, just like give me one. That's just my influence. Okay, so it's off beat, but it kind of works. Like you can get a Lucki type lyric on this. The problem with going off of one song is that like this is probably a very different BPM and a very different key. So I mean, obviously that doesn't really work the same. So now we're on the fun part where we just arrange the beat. I'm really glad that we were able to like actually finish this beat yesterday. The beat was just crazy. What I might do is create a second channel for the long form tutorials because I think that's going to be the best way to do this. It would let me upload the long form tutorials and then I don't have to worry about like click-through rate or any of that shit. I can just put out a full video and then on the primary channel I can just do like a little like 5-minute breakdown of the beat after the fact. See, I'm still planning everything out. So that's what that's about. Planning out this channel and the other channel. Just deciding there's gonna be 2. I don't know if I'm actually gonna make a second one though. I feel like it's a good idea because I don't know if I was saying it in this recording or the previous recording, but One of the problems I'm having right now is retention in my videos. I've noticed shorter beats are going to be better because, 20 seconds of a short beat versus 20 seconds of a long beat, I mean, you know, it just works better this way. But if I'm putting a 2-hour video out on how to make a beat, then like 20 seconds on that is actually 0% retention. 0% retention is a problem. Although that does open the door. What if the second channel takes off before the first channel? But then, I mean, I guess at that point, just dive into the second channel. I mean, I don't really want to be a tight beat thing anyways. I'd rather just do like YouTube personality things, which I feel would come from like this kind of tutorial, laid back format. It's like a podcast where we make a beat. That's what I'll call it. That's totally, oh my God, that's what I don't know if you can hear my stomach grumbling, but it is all over the place. But that's what I'm going to call it. It's a podcast where we make a beat. Oh my God. That's a revelation for me. Okay. All right. So at this point, we just want to listen to all the sounds. Okay, so this one gives it a really hollow tone. I kind of want to save that for mainly the verse, to be honest. We'll probably like kind of keep it going into the melody refrain, so we'll kind of like drop it out there. We'll drop it out there just to give it a little bit more variety. All right, what's this sound? What I kind of want to do is find the channel that Electra is on, channel 1, and go into an automation clip. Ooh, okay, hold on. I kind of want to do that Playboy Cardi thing that he does on that one beat. Okay, so this is our secondary lead. This is our pad. Hmm. What benefit would it do if we had this here? Would it do any? Like, would that even be noticeable? Okay, that does actually work for a really transition. What we do is just leave that there in the last two. Now, we have to figure out how we want to have this done. I think we clearly need to take out the pad. I don't think the pad's going to be any help here. And I feel like we could probably even take out that sound too. So then that leaves the question of which do we enter in first whenever we return to it. Kind of like the idea of like kind of stopping everything a little early. And like some kind of thing like with the drums. I kind of want it to be like the 808 is the last note. So like with the snare, for instance, we probably need to bring that back. Probably don't need that there. Oh, did we do oh on that? No, we didn't do oh on that. Alright. Now, how do we want the drums? I feel like we don't need the kick at the first part of it. I don't really think we need it at all, really. So I guess we'll just kind of leave it here. We do want the hi-hats to be pretty consistent, but do we want the funky hi-hats at the start of the beat, or do we want to like kind of work into the funky hi-hats? I guess since we're going to be taking out the lead, we're going to be adding in something. What we'll do is kind of, so like we'll have that there, and then maybe we'll drop that for like a little bit, so the hi-hats just kind of change a little bit, and then like they'll go back into being like crazy. And then I feel like we don't really need the monk hi-hat there. Although I kind of want to do the same thing that we did in this one, and then kind of do that like maybe one more time here. Especially since we got like a different sound for it, and then we could even like do it again there and kind of like change up the last half. We're getting a little too creative though. You don't want to get too creative. I know that's like a weird thing to say, but just trust me, you don't want to get too creative. So we'll go ahead and keep the snare out until it comes in, and then we're just going to keep it pretty consistent. We do want to like kind of... What we could do with it is kind of have like a lot of moments where the track builds and just doesn't really resolve. And give it like a really kind of doomy, impending vibe. And to be honest, we don't really need the perk unless we have the snare and stuff in it, so... Okay, so let's just listen to it, see how that sounds. We'll see if we need to keep the analog lab 4 that we just added or not. But that's cool, that little reverb. Ooh. This is gonna be dirt nasty. Yeah, okay, we definitely need that to be there. I guess what we can do to keep it from being too intense and having it hit correctly is we can kind of do that. Now, one of my problems with this is that we keep this melody going the entire time, and I think that's a little bit of a problem. So what we can do to correct that is we can go ahead and put that over here, so at least there's a little bit more variation with it. We can even kind of offset it so that like we still kind of hit what we need to correctly. So if we go over here, what we can even do is we can copy the value and we can go ahead and place that here, paste that value, and then we can go ahead and copy this value and we can go ahead and put that like right here and paste that, so it doesn't really kind of go off until it's like off. So it'll sound more like this. Kind of let some of the other sounds shine, and then it'll kind of like go back up into itself. And then something that we kind of need to do is we need to figure out a sound or two to eliminate. Okay, so that goes to about a minute. We'll go ahead and end this song here. So I kind of want to do a little bit of a hi-hat stop there. It just kind of feels necessary to kind of like there. I feel like we should do that over here too. Okay, so we did it. We made a beat. Check that out. Only took us like an hour and a half. Pretty interesting beat, I suppose. I'm definitely gonna listen to it again. I'll use my real speakers too. Yeah. Headphones aren't even the only sound I have. And what's crazy is it doesn't even really pick it up unless it's playing, so I could straight up just play it like this. But I don't. Shout out to the beat. So that's why I don't do it. I like the little like ambient sounds. It does kind of have like a Lucki beat kind of feel to it. Kind of getting like Destroy Lonely too. Makes sense. And we did use the fun 808 pretty much. Which is definitely... What happened there? Adding percussion. Be like. Alright, don't forget to have good posture. Good posture will increase longevity in your life. It's important to have good posture. But yeah, I mean, we're done. There's nothing else to do here. We could put a little video thing on it for the main channel, but I'll do that in the tutorial video for that on the main channel. I'm gonna go ahead and export it and call it a day for now. I'll catch y'all later. You know, stay hydrated and keep your posture good.